word nerds. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. This is Spencer. It's me. And this is episode F158. And we got to get into the words. You know we got to get into the bit of birds. All right. The first word in this episode is folic acid. 2 words. Noun from 1941. Let's scoot this window over here so I am less distracted by myself of myself. This is folic acid. I have heard of this, but I don't know what it is. I think it's something that you can get in your gut, maybe. It's a crystalline vitamin, C19, H19, N7O6, of the B complex that is used especially in the treatment of nutritional anemias. So this is not something that seems like it's naturally occurring. It seems like this is something that maybe you want to take. Maybe it's an oral thing, you're going to take it, and because maybe you got some nutritional anemias. This is called also, well, this is not an easier name to say at all. It's pteroylglutamic acid. And that word starts with a PT. Pteroylglutamic acid. Same thing, different name. And folic acid, I don't know. It's from the Latin word folium, and it's been a number of days since I recorded. So what did we have? We saw folium in, folding, and I don't know, various things in the previous episode. Folium, it means leaf. Why did they use the word leaf in folic acid? It's a question for the ages. Oh, I gotta make a sound effect. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go I don't know. Let's see. That's a sound effect of music. Now we have the word. Well, it's 3 words, and it is folie à deux, or you can pronounce it if you are so inclined. You can say folie à deux, kind of. Folie à deux. That seems like the more American way to say it. This is spelled F-O-L-I-E. Second word is just the letter A with an accent on it, and it looks like the accent is up on the left and down on the right. I believe that is the grave accent. And then the third word is D-E-U-X. And some of you might remember this from a certain movie sequel that many people did not enjoy. Joker, I don't even think it says Joker 2. I think it's just Joker Folie à deux. I'm not going to get into a conversation about that movie. We'll talk about the etymology after I read this definition. Folie à deux is a noun from circa 1892. It is the presence of the same or similar delusional ideas in 2 persons closely associated with one another. And I think that tells you a little bit more about this movie. And so if you have seen this movie, then folie à deux makes sense. It's actually a very clever use. And it's a very unique way to title a sequel, I think. And the word two kind of is in there, deux, because it's about 2. So what does this mean? If you don't know French, like me, you would not be able to figure this out on your own. You would need a little help from Translate Something or from me. It literally means double madness because it's 2 people. Is it 2 or more? No, it's just 2, obviously, because it's deux. 2 people maybe not seeing the world the same way that the majority of the other people see the world, and they're together in some way, closely related. Whatever it is, it's double madness. Now, it's interesting to think, why does this phrase even exist? What happened in 1892 that made the French people decide that they needed a phrase that meant double madness? I am very curious about that. Was it about Joker and Harley Quinn? I can't remember their real names at the moment. We are going to move on to... Next is folio. First form of folio, noun from the 15th century. Number 1A is a leaf That makes sense. It's probably from the Latin folium. A leaf, especially of a manuscript or book. So just one page of that manuscript or book is a folio. But it's other things, because we got many definitions. 1b, a leaf number. So I guess the page number, the number of that leaf, would be the folio. This is page 42. It's folio 42. 1c, a page number. So yeah, right there. It's a page number. This page. What is the folio for this folio? It is 486. I have gotten to page 486 out of about 5,000. Let's see if he can make it. 1D. An identifying reference in accounting used in posting. And I don't know about the accounting. My mom said I should get into accounting because I was fine with numbers, but I did not want to. So if I had gone down that path, then maybe I would know what this folio number is, identifying reference. But also then you wouldn't have gotten this podcast. So, pros and cons. Number 2A, a sheet of paper folded once. So if you just take any piece of paper and you fold it just once, this is a piece of paper that I have. It has a bunch of scriggly, scraggly notes on it, and it has been folded once, so it is a folio. It looks like it's also been folded twice. So what is that? A double folio? Is that a folio à deux? Because that paper is crazy. That's a bad word to use. Now we have 2B, is a case or folder for loose papers. This is the one that I think I'm most familiar with folio. You got to put it in your folio. You got to put your folios in your folio and make sure that they have the folio numbers on there, and you don't want to get them all mixed up. You want to keep your folios in folio order, folie order. Number 3A, the size of a piece of paper cut two from a sheet. The size of a piece of paper cut two from a sheet. So if you cut two pieces of paper, then the size of that paper is the folio? Are you cutting it equally? But also, paper or a page of this size. But it depends on the size of the original piece of paper. Is there a specific folio size? I don't know. Number 3B is a book printed on folio pages. And so I guess because it's 3B, I imagine that this is that certain size of paper, and the book made of that size is the folio. 3C, a book of the largest size. Well, now, what this size thing? What's going on? What size is it? Is it just any size? Can you say any book is folio? What is the largest size? The largest size of paper? I mean, they've made paper that's pretty big, but I don't know if they've made books out of that very large size. I mean, I've seen books that are, I don't know, 2 feet by 2 feet, maybe something crazy around that size. I've seen books like that. Humble brag. Sorry, I've been around a little bit. So what is that? Folio? A book of the largest size. Just a huge book. You can just call it a folio. I mean, this dictionary, it's a pretty big book. It's, there's a lot of books out there that are bigger, so I don't know if we can call this book a folio. Number 4. A certain number of words taken as a unit or division in a document for purposes of measurement or reference. Amount of words taken as a unit or division in a document for purposes of measurement. So you're like, well, this section has this many words, and that's going to be our folio. And we're going to say, well, based on that size, we're going to estimate that the book has this many words. Or, I don't know, you're just taking it in sections. How many words in that section? That's a folio. Okay, if you say so, I will agree with that. The etymology is literally just from the Latin folium, which means leaf, and that makes sense. We got off into other worlds with the sizes of the paper, but it all comes from leaf. Now we have the second form of folio, which is a transitive verb from 1858. This is to put a serial number on each leaf or page of. Can you imagine if this book, this 5,000 plus page book, almost 6,000 actually, can you imagine if somebody had to put a serial number on every single one of those pages? Well, what they would probably have really done is just put the serial number in the document when you're printing the pages, and then it just gets printed. But this one seems like you're individually putting a serial number on every single page, every single leaf. Maybe if you put a serial number on every single leaf of a tree, then you would be folioing the tree. That tree is folioed because now every leaf has a serial number and maybe a barcode or a QR code or I could also call it a QR code. Okay, now we gotta go. We now have folios. Folios, adjective from 1758, having a flat, thin, and usually lobed thallus attached to the substratum. The example is folios lichens, lichens. And compare to crustos. I don't remember reading that word, but I like that word. Crustos, that seems weird. And also fruticose, which we'll get to the fruit section later in the F's. So folios, crustos, fruticose, it seems like these are all, what are they? Ways that something can be growing attached. So let's read folios again to remind ourselves, because we can't remember what happened 10 seconds ago. Having a flat, thin, and usually lobed thallus attached to the substratum. Well, if we're talking about the lichens, I don't know if those things growing on trees are lichens, but it's not a mold, a fungus exactly. I don't think it's not really a moss. It's kind of mossy, but I think they tend to be greenish, and they grow on stuff. And so I imagine these lichens, because I think I've seen them. They've got these sort of lobes. It's like a bump out here and a bump out there and a bump out there, but yes, they're pretty flat. They're pretty flat when you're looking at them. So, most of the lichens that I've probably seen are folios, because maybe they look like leaves. But then it seems like there's other kinds of lichens and other things that you can describe as crustos or fruticose, and they will have, they might not be flat, they might not be lobed. I don't know what they are. We'll never know. But specifically, this is from the Latin foliosus. Foliosus, which means leafy. Yeah. Now we have the first form of the word folk. Now, it only has one pronunciation, folk. But I have heard many, many people over the years like to say this word, folk, with the L in there, because it is spelled, of course, F-O-L-K. Now, I don't say the L, so I am not going to say the L in this episode. But if you really, really like the L, then you can say it that way. Folk, noun from before the 12th century. Number 1 is archaic, and it is a group of kindred tribes forming a nation. And the synonym is the word people. Just the people of a nation are the folk. Number 2, the great proportion of the members of a people. Wow, this is a long definition. Here we go. Let's get into it. The great proportion of the members of a people that determines the group character and that tends to preserve its characteristic form of civilization and its customs, arts and crafts, legends, traditions, and superstitions from generation to generation. Ooh, that was a lot. I mean, yeah, it's about the idea of this group of people going down from generation to generation and keeping all of that stuff alive. The customs from your forepeople, the arts and the farts and the crafts. The legends, right? The stories that they're telling. Maybe it's the tall tales. The traditions. Yeah, what do we do? What do we do for dinner for this holiday? What are the holidays? Could be different from other places that have holidays. Oh, superstitions. Oh, yes, they got superstitions. So the great proportion of the members of the people that determines the group character. Right. It's like if you've got just a group of people who have been hanging out in this area for generations, you might just call them folk. They might be not of a specific nation. There might be a lot of other people a part of that nation, but this is just one group of people. Number 3 is plural. So you would say folks. I think I put the L in there. Folks or folk. Folk can be the plural. And it is, number 3 is a certain kind, class, or group of people. A specific kind. But what? We got examples. Old folks. That's one example. Another one is just plain folks. I don't know why they had to put the word just in there. Just plain folks. Also, country folks. So those could be the folks of a country, or they could be the folks living in the country, the more rural areas. And then also media folks. The people in the media who are passing down the superstitions from the people who were in media before them. And you can't format a card before you kiss it. Okay, number 4. This is also plural. The definition is just people generally. Just generically generally people. There are over 8 billion folks on this planet. Number 5 is also plural, but specifically folks with an S. This is the person of one's own family, and it's especially the synonym parents. Talking about your parents. Oh, my folks. How are your folks doing? Oh, my folks are doing great. They're doing wonderful. They're playing golf. They're hanging out on the golf courts, getting margaritas, hanging out with their other folk friends. No, that's not my parents at all. My folks are doing great, actually. My dad is painting and making art constantly and going around to libraries and other places, old folks' homes, if you will, and putting on a little educational show about Impressionist art. And he's acting as if it was Monet, and they're loving it. Those old folks, they're loving my folks. And my mom is she's got her hands in lots of things. It depends on the day. So. Now we go to number 6. It is folk music. Folk music. It can just be called folk. What kind of music you like? Folk. So the word sounds very silly. Let's talk about where this word came from. We're taking it down to Old High German folk, spelled F-O-L-C, and I do not know how the Old High German people pronounce that, but that word just means people. So that's what it is, just people. What about the people who are one generation older than you, who gave birth to you, who conceived you and gave birth to you? Those are your people, your folks. All right, now we got to go to the second form of folk. Is an adjective from before the 12th century. Number 1, originating or traditional with the common people of a country or region and typically reflecting their lifestyle. As in, folk hero. Folk hero. This is one who maybe did something heroic many, many years ago, and it became a legend maybe, so he or she, whoever, is a folk hero. Traditional with the common people. Yeah, everybody's talking about this folk hero from generation to generation. Would Davy Crockett be a folk hero? There's also another example, folk music. So folk music, you can call it folk, but it's the music that is described as folk because it's the common people of a country. Yeah, I like folk music. That movie about Bob Dylan was about this transition for him specifically, going from folk music to electric. But he still was sort of in the folk music world, I think, a bit, but I don't know. And the folk music people were very upset about the electricity. Now, number 2 is of or relating to the common people or to the study of the common people, as in folk sociology. The sociologists are studying the common people. But what, the common people, what an interesting phrase. The common people, the normal people. We are all, there are some people who I guess are not common people. Next is, I'm just looking ahead. We have a lot of more folk words in the next episode. And are we going to see folk music? No, we're not. It's just music and folk. You put them together, you got folk music. I do appreciate that folk music is really about, it is about the common people. It is talking about, there's a lot of political messages. Hey, you not common people, why don't you look at these common people and look at what we are dealing with? And maybe you can help us out, calling out the injustices in the world. I very much appreciate that. Now I think we are moving on to folk art. 2 words, noun from 1911. This is the traditional, typically anonymous art of usually untrained people. And maybe if I can find some examples of folk art, I will put it on the social media at dictionarypod. Anonymous, we don't know who did it, and they were not trained. But they are probably the common people, the traditional stuff of just everyday people, maybe from many, many years ago, making this art. So we call it folk art. 1911. Seems like it maybe should be a little bit older, but I guess that's when the word folk really got going. But it's an old word. Next we have folk etymology. 2 words, noun from 1882. This is the transformation of words so as to give them an apparent relationship to other better known or better understood words. And we have an example. It's the change of the Spanish word cucaracha to the English word cockroach. So it's literally changing words from other languages to, could you say anglicize them? The apparent relationship to other better known or better understood words. Now wait, did cockroach already exist before cucaracha? Did cockroach come from cucaracha? It does say the transformation of words. So as to give them apparent relationship to other, but like, is there another word? I guess roach, maybe. Oh, there's some roaches crawling around. Maybe it was, I don't know. It's an interesting, there's a lot more going on there. Folk etymology. So it's the creation of these words that we know. Maybe if I could put a link in the show notes of like a list of these types of words that have gotten adjusted to fit more in the English language. I mean, I don't mind saying cucaracha, but I guess they didn't like to. They wanted to say cockroach. Now we have the first form of the word folkie, Folkie, or with a Y, and it is a noun from 1965. This is a folk singer or instrumentalist is a folkie. You're such a folkie singing those folk songs. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer a nail. I'm a folkie. Now we have the second form of folkie, adjective from 1965, same year, of or relating to folk music. Maybe the guitars are folky, the banjos are folky, the fiddles, the basses, those are very folky because they are they're relating to folk music. Next is folkish, adjective from 1938. The synonym is folk-like, which is one word which is coming up, so we'll get to that shortly. But folkishness is a noun. So folkish is folk-like, which is from 1938. Next is folk life with an F, a folk life, noun from 1864. The traditions, activities, skills, and products of a particular people or group. And the examples of the products are handicrafts, crafts made with your hands, because you're so handy. I'm so handy. I automatically think of the Amish folks making their carpentry things, beds, cabinets, whatever, dressers, and they are they it's this is a noun, so they're living the folk life. Those are the things that they make, and they've got traditions and activities and skills like carpentry. The barns are all part of the folk life. Now we have folk like with a K. Adjective from 1939, so it's just 1 year after folkish. Folkish and folk like are the same thing. So folk like is having a folk character. It's like folk. It's kind of like folk. My sound effect is folk like. It's folkish. That one got a little bit different. Now we have folklore. Ooh, what is folklore? Noun from 1846. Number 1, traditional customs, tales, sayings, dances, or art forms preserved among a people. All of those things. That's so many things. It's all part of the folklore. Customs, tales, their stories, the things that they say, their artwork, their dances. Number 2, a branch of knowledge that deals with folklore. A branch of knowledge? What sort of branch? Would you just call it the folklore knowledge? Number 3, an often unsupported notion, story, or saying that is widely circulated. This is when I think of the tall tales. Maybe Paul Bunyan could be a little bit of folklore. Oh, that's just folklore. Maybe he was based on a real person. Same with like Davy Crockett. But I don't know if the Davy Crockett that we talk about did all those things. I don't know if he went to space. I think that might be a little bit of folklore. It's unsupported. There's no scientific evidence that Paul Bunyan was 50 feet tall. Folkloric is an adjective. Folklorish is an adjective. Folklorist is a noun. Folkloristic, that is an adjective. Folkloristic. We should be calling more things folkloristic. All right. Lore. Lore. I guess that'll be a fun word to talk about when we get there. In the L's. Next is folk mass. Now, is this our last word? I believe it is. Folk mass. 2 words. Noun from 1966. This is a mass in which traditional liturgical music is replaced by folk music. Ooh. Is that allowed? Can you do that? Okay. So I guess this isn't like a religious situation, obviously, because it's liturgical music and it's a mass. But they don't want to play the liturgical music. That's hard to say. No, they don't want the traditional religious songs. They want folk music at the mass because it's a little bit more, I guess at the time, in the 60s, it was a little bit more modern and talking about the times, what the people are going through at this time in the 60s. I've never heard of a folk mass. I did not. Is this still going on? Probably. There's probably people still doing folk mass. But now, times have changed. Music has changed. Maybe do we have pop mass? Hip-hop mass? Hard rock mass? Why don't we have masses where we're switching music to all other kinds? I think you might get more people to go if you do that. I'm not going. Okay, now let's pick a word of the episode. Today we had folic acid, folie à deux, folio, folios, folk, folk art, folk etymology, folky, folkish, folk life, folk like, folklore, folk mass. Oh, so many folk words, and we got more in the next episode, and the word sounds really weird. Why would you say folk? Folk? Weird. Well, I don't know. Part of me, I could pick folk etymology because it's word-related on this word-related podcast show. I'm also tempted to pick folie à deux because I think it's just an interesting concept of there's a phrase that means two mad people. What else? I mean, folk in general, folk art, all that stuff is very interesting, and the traditional stuff. But I don't know. What do I want? Let's just do folie à deux as the word of the episode. Folie à deux, do, 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 do. We're two people and we're a little bit different. Folie à deux. That's it. I don't believe I have another movie to tell you about, but I can tell you briefly. I will quickly do this. The David Lynch retrospective has started in my timeline at the Music Box in Chicago. It started 2 days ago, and we have not actually seen anything yet. We are going to see some stuff today, but it's just already been a really fun time seeing people that we don't get to see very often. People coming in town, meeting new people. It's building on those little relationships that were already there. It's been so much fun already, and we can't wait to see sort of how it's a 10-day retrospective of almost all of David Lynch's work, a lot of his work, plus a whole bunch of other films that are connected to David Lynch in some way by actors, producers, cinematographers, editors. Things that he was connected with in some way, or things that inspired him. Sunset Boulevard, The Wizard of Oz, tons of stuff. It's kind of an amazing, huge thing. This is airing way after the retrospective is over, but if you are a Lynch fan, then it's a biggie. I'm going to try and record as much as I can over the next week. This podcast, and I will talk about the movies that we are seeing, which is going to be, obviously a lot of Lynch stuff, but there's going to be some other stuff in there too, including a short film that I helped on and have a tiny little cameo. All right, that's it for this episode. It's going to be a long day. Here we go. I got so much stuff to do. This has been Spencer, being kind of folky today, dispensing information. Goodbye.